How to trap kids in a safe house. Keep up the pretense of civility as your abductees acclimatise. The use of facades is very important. Conceal what is really inside with a calculated exterior. NB, this works for buildings and humans. It looked like an ancient abandoned farmhouse surrounded by an old ivy-covered stone wall. It was grey-black, mildewed and decayed, looking against the grey sky, all desolate and Wuthering Heights-like. Weird, in other words. Dad must have sensed my disappointment as he told me, "Just wait," and he jumped out the passenger door. As if on cue, the ancient iron entrance to the farm gate creaked open, and even weirder, there was this woman with long red hair grinning at us, holding this big plastic bucket. Now, I'm the last person to want to reduce a woman to her physical attributes, but let's call her homely, big-boned, perhaps hefty, food-loving, or huge knockered, and hippie-ish too, with that kind of red-cheeked, no-makeup, muddy-handed, nature-loving, probably smelly energy that always freaks me out. Weirder still was this major déjà vu feeling. Like I totally knew Dad was about to say, "Hey, kids, this is Meg." As I steered inside and Dad locked the huge black iron gate behind us. The farmhouse had a bit of the roof caved in and some broken windows, like it had been utterly deserted for 50 years. I was pretty disappointed that this was our surprise venture, actually. Plus, it had started pissing with rain. I slowed down, just right. Put the handbrake on, and I saw Dad go over to this Meg person. And I couldn't hear them properly through the windscreen, but she asked him something weird like, "All clear," and he nodded. Then, out of the blue, she hugged him and handed him her bucket, and she ran over and was literally yanking my door open. She had this big, over-eager smile, like in a horror film where the baddie grins and says, "We've been expecting you." And her totally braless boobs were bouncing under her outstretched arms, and she said, "Here they are at last, the little rascals. Hi, Ben. Hi, Hayley." And she's wearing this weird mixture of like a tie-dye 80s t-shirt and camouflage pants, along with this weird apron with bunnies on it. She had this kind of gnarly hair vegans call self-washing. Freaky. And there were hugs. Ben always laps that shit up, probably because Mother Dearest had to do online classes in expressing intimacy. I stood there dreading contact with this woman's pendulous possessions and her stained apron, and I guess I must have muttered, "Is that blood?" to her, which, given that she was supposed to be Dad's client and was supposed to buy his invention, was kind of rude of me. "Oh, that's just a bit of jam," she said, with gusto. "I bet you're both starving. I made a chocolate sponge cake special." Ben interrupted with excessive yippies, and I clocked that full-on calorific Ben bribery was now occurring. Total strangers offering chocolate cake with a smile was way up there with Child Catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And it was strange. How did she know about coercing Ben with foodstuffs? And know our names? So, I had to cut things off. "Ben can't eat chocolate anymore because of his condition," I said to the Meg woman and to Dad, who was already unloading the car. You see, Mother had asked me to secretly police Dad to see if he was force-feeding Ben treats behind her back. Her endless refrain was, "I don't think he realises how much damage he's doing to his son's liver." Seriously, me and the spheroid sibling had this super strict health diet that Mother enforced. Sometimes, I thought she put her bans on random foodstuffs just so she could blame Dad for making a mistake. He fed you flour. It was like we were test experiments that Mother had sent out into the world to gather incriminating evidence against Dad. Like guinea pig double agents.